Welcome to another episode of the Married Game Podcast. We are the voice you trust when it comes to lust, and we are who you hire when she lacks desire. As crazy as this next story sounds, I want to introduce you to a man who has dropped over 100 pounds. Justin Wenzel in the house. What's up, bro?
We're going right into it with that. I love it. Let's go.
It's a huge accomplishment. And I don't think anybody would know, hey, looking at you, that you used to be 100 pounds heavier than you. That's one of your many accomplishments, starting your coaching company, selling the cars, getting lean, going through the sobriety experience. We've done a little bit of research on you, and your energy fucking checks out.
Wow.
Your energy checks out. And so it's pretty rare that I have guys on the show, Jordan can tell you, but when there's a guy that go, I'm curious about his opinion on a few things, and I like his energy, that's why I invited you here. So
I'm honored.
Thanks for coming. And then, bro, we got to hang out at the Briar Beach Club, and that was epic.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting us. I know Jake and Ange had a great time. My wife absolutely loved everybody that she met. Yeah. I made some great friends there as well. As a matter of fact, yesterday I had Kyle on my show. He came into my studio. We had a blast, and the whole time I was thinking, obviously I was focused on him. Yeah. But I was like, this is how these are going. Jeremy came on my show the week before, and now I'm here with you. So I'm actually really excited about these connections that I've been making with you guys. I didn't think that it was going to happen so fast. Yeah. Jeremy ended up joining our program as well, and we're going to do some fun things with him in terms of business coaching. So it's all just been really good networking, a lot of positivity, and really great energy, like you were saying. So I'm honored, blessed. All of it,
dude. Okay, so what? Tell us about the 100-pound story. What? There's a point where you get to the point where you go, "Fuck this! I'm not doing this anymore." Mm-hmm. Tell us that story.
Well, one thing I want to make clear is I've lost 100 pounds twice. Okay.
And times two, motherfucker.
Times two. And that's not something to be proud of. But the first time was before I left for college. Okay. And obviously I was just sick of being a fat ass. Growing up, okay, let me just kind of start there. I had a father who was in the auto industry. Okay, and if you know anything about any industry that's high stress, pressure, sales, you have seasons, right? You put on weight, you take it off. You're in the showroom all day. You're on vacation. So it ebbs and flows. So my dad was young. My parents were young when they had me. So growing up, I watched yo-yo dieting. Right. Mm-hmm. And that was like what my life was because I just followed my dad. Right. And that's what kids do. You follow your parents' habits. Right. Yeah. So that's what I saw. And there was always a heavy emphasis throughout my life on weight loss because we knew. I had a grandpa who was a prick. Oh, he was a forklift driver for General Motors. You know what I mean? And he would tell me, you're looking husky. You know what I mean? And I'd be like, God damn, Grandpa. And he was pretty ruthless. So I'm just going to tell it all. So when I was 12 years old, my parents sent me to fat camp. Okay. And just what you've seen in the movie with Ben Stiller, Heavyweights, that's how it was. Cafeteria was up at the top of the hill. You had to earn it. Yeah. Pool party, they lower the water. It was a whole thing. Wow. And I went there 4 years in a row. Whoa. But what was really cool about that, it was like an upscale fat camp, there were really cool people that were there. Yeah. L.A. Reid's son went to it. I made really good friends with him. If you know, L.A. Reid owns Arista Records, LaFace Records, Brothers with Babyface, so on and so forth. Yeah. Met a lot of great people. It was actually really fun for networking. 8-week camp. Wow. Tony Little was there and ran it. If you remember Tony Little back in the day, the Gazelle, exactly. So it was like a really cool place. Oprah would send people there. You know what I mean? It was like it was a whole thing. Yeah. So I had really good knowledge on health and fitness since I was a kid, but I would just yo-yo because that's what my parents did. Okay.
I did the same thing, so I totally get it.
And I think people listening to this that have been there will understand where I was at. Yeah. So there was always emphasis on it, but I was still always kind of the fat kid. Okay. Right? It gets deeper though, because when you have a heavy emphasis on it, maybe like body dysmorphia issues start to happen. You're never happy with yourself, or you go the other direction. You just let yourself go because you stop giving a fuck. And that happened with me on a few different occasions. So I would lose weight, 60 pounds, gain it back, whatever. Yeah. The last time was I grew really codependent in a relationship where there was a lot of distrust, no loyalty, but I would just take it. And it was really like my self-worth was just bottom of the barrel. She would cheat on me, I would take her back. You know what I mean? And it was like, this was the best I could get in that moment. Yeah. Right. So the second time, the last time,
you feel that. Like, it's not like pretend. Like, you really feel that.
Yes. No respect or pseudo respect. That was totally faked. Sleeping in separate beds because I was so fat. I snored so loud. Right. Just a lot of stuff where it was like, self-pity, but I was able to fake it because in my head I was like, I know I can lose the weight. I know how to do it. I've done it so many times.
Yeah.
Right. I was a really good athlete in high school. I wasn't fat in high school. I was in really good shape. Right. Before college, I lost a bunch of weight. During college, I gained it all back. Right. And so your
identity shifted from big guy to stud?
Several times.
Yeah.
Several times. And so I always knew how to do it. Right. But it was just one of those things where, and by the way, my freshman year, I had a trainer that was a Mr. Universe. His name's Mike Vrujink, still to this day is a chairman for the IFBB and the NPC. So just like I was in it. I was in the fitness world.
Yeah.
Just fat.
Jacked
and fat.
Wow. First of all, was there a line going through your head that you could lift a lot of weight, so that was kind of enough?
Yeah. The fat, strong guy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was tatted up and stuff like that. And everyone said like that when I was like 350 pounds, they'd be like, dude, you wear it so well, right? And I'm like, yeah, I wear it well. Fuck yeah, I'm good.
Yeah. Bro, I get it. Yeah.
So what actually was, when it was like enough is enough, was my first EDM music festival.
Okay.
And
what was that?
Well, because I went and I saw these guys that were like partying their faces off and having a blast, and they were shredded.
Yeah.
And I was like, these guys are getting all the girls. And meanwhile, like in my head, I have this huge resentment, almost vendetta against my then girlfriend, who ended up being my first ex-wife. Right. And so I was like, yeah, I'm going to get super jacked and like really show her like what I'm made of, and she'll never stray away, and she'll always look at me like whatever. And so, and it's funny because most addicts, and of course I'm a drug addict and alcoholic. So most addicts, they get sober and then they fall in love with fitness. I got jacked so I could look cool getting fucked up. That was my whole thing.
Isn't that interesting? You wanted to be the guy having fun at the parties, getting all the fucking whatever he wanted.
Dude, I went to rehab with a 6-pack.
Yeah.
I was the most jacked guy at the like the coolest guy at rehab.
What I mean?
Exactly. And so
we're sad you're here, but we're glad you're here.
Yeah, I don't care. You know what I mean? Like to think that getting jacked and getting sober would have provided me the life that I have today.
Yeah.
I would have done this years ago.
Yeah, I always said that if I would have known how good it feels to walk around the 6-pack, this would have been the first and only thing I would have went after at the very beginning.
Yep.
Because you just walk around life different when you have abs. It's a mentality.
Yep.
Okay, so you lost it. Did you get down to lean and then gain it back again?
No. That was it. That was 10 years ago.
That was it. You said, this is it.
Yep. And I didn't do it. Like I did it the healthy way in terms of diet, but I also took everything that I could to get jacked, right? Whatever I could poke in me, I would take. You know what I mean? It was like, whatever.
Yeah.
I still drank the whole entire time. I probably did tremendous damage to my body during that period.
Yeah.
But I did it in a year where I was like, I was in really good shape. And by the way, we were getting married the next year. Should never have done that, but we learn our lessons.
Yeah.
And so I wanted my wedding pictures to be, in great shape and all of that. So did it. Looked good. We were the hot couple on vacation at where we stayed at, like, some sandals or something like that in Jamaica. But exactly. So everyone there was fat. Yeah. And we were like the hot couple. And I was like, dude, I did this. I can get fucked up. I'm stoked. I'm jacked. Like, this is cool. This is how I can live my life.
Wow.
And then resentment starts coming in more. And the perversion and the self-worth issues in the relationship started to occur. But also, now I have a 6-pack. I can get whoever I want.
Yeah.
Right?
It definitely changes the game.
So now I'm married, and all I can think about is, her with other dudes, or her like whatever. And it was like, it fucked with me, man. It really, really fucked with me. So of course, what do? You either do what normal people do and like fix their problems inside and stuff like that, or isolate, right? Or create distractions, diversion, and whatever. And I went that route.
You went the diversion route.
And the isolate.
Yeah.
Right? So maintained, like I dude, if I could even tell you like how my routine looked, like I would go to the gym at 5 a.m. in the morning. I would be up until 3 doing blow and partying. And then I was like, boom, I'm at the gym sweating out Tito's or whatever it was. Yeah. Sometimes drinking Tito's out of my gym bag, like, taking nips. Just to keep the shakes down, but I was so focused. Cardio, full training till failure, everything.
Wow.
And I started, but I was like, outside I looked great, but inside I was just like fucking falling apart.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where the rest of everything started to down, like my fitness was perfectly in check.
Yeah.
Work life, perfectly in check.
Yeah.
Internally, in relationship, spiraling out of control.
What was it with that part? But now you were starting to feel self-worth again and you weren't going to accept it, or what?
Well, yeah, of course, like, you look good, so you're getting notice.
Attention.
Yeah. You're an addict, so most likely you're probably going to also be a codependent, right?
Yeah.
So someone gives you attention and you're like, oh, well, what can that be?
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean?
Your honesty is fucking so refreshing.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck.
We feel the same way around here. And so it is so fucking refreshing to hear you, like, even call yourself out on the shit that you were going through. Most people are too afraid to admit that shit.
Yeah.
It's fucking really refreshing, dude.
When you can come to terms with who you really are.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you look in the mirror, right?
Yeah.
And you do the work.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah.
I like that guy.
I like that guy.
The guy before was really struggling. The guy now is fucking winning.
And the story, right? Like the story is what it is. I don't ever try to portray like this rags to riches story. I don't I had a great upbringing.
Yeah, you got fat to fit to fat
to fit, fat yo-yo diet fucking guy.
I actually used to struggle talking about how bad it was from where I came and like how shy I was with women and how rejected I felt by women. And the whole reason I became great with women is because I didn't want to be that. The reason I wanted muscle because I didn't want to be skinny. The reason why I fucking make a bunch of money because I didn't want to be broke. Like all the opposite things. Mm-hmm. It was a struggle for me to admit some of the stuff I went through because a lot of the circles I've already been accepted in and admired in, I had this story thinking they all were born that way. I mean, it sounds ridiculous, but I'm thinking, oh, well, they were in the NFL. Of course, they're fucking, getting more ass than a toilet seat. But yeah, they respect my ability and where I'm at. But I'm like, do they know how far bad it really was? Well, a lot of them do, and they go, that's actually why we respect you, because of how far up the fucking mountain how far down you were. I was tripped up in that. Was that something you had to overcome?
I think most people, when they're going through that kind of stuff, they bottle it up or they hide it or they try to act like everything's okay. And I think a lot of times I did, but I did have people around me that were either going through it too, right? And or it was like, for me, like it was too obvious to continue to bottle up or keep hidden. You know what I mean?
So you were forced into truth and then you just got comfortable there?
Yeah, right. Because think about like a showroom setting, like, right? Because that's all I can really think about is the 90 hours a week that I would spend with the same exact dudes who all partied, who all had like child support due. And you know what I mean? Like we all had the same bullshit.
Yeah.
So like you're pretty open about it, right? And obviously too, if you're in it too, and you're like in your addiction and things like that, like, Monday morning comes around and you're sweating out and dealing with the bends and things like that, and everyone knows, and a lot of them are too, but some people can hold it together better than others. So I don't think I wore it well.
Got it.
You know what I mean? So you could see that I was like falling apart, but you have to maintain. You have to.
Yeah.
And the other thing too is to consider, like, you see guys that are doing the same thing and living the same lifestyle as you, but they are holding it together. Mm-hmm. So you're like, I need to be like that.
Yeah.
That's the standard that you set for yourself.
There's 3 energies I'm feeling that I got to express them because you embody them and very few men do. And this is a show where a bunch of dudes are trying to become the best version of themselves. A lot of them have never been exposed to just a grounded, this is who the fuck I am guy, and if you like it, cool. If you don't, also cool, but my life's great with or without you. You embody that, and this is something that we think is highly attractive, and why women are attracted to that energy. It's, I'm here, you're invited to be here. If you want to be here, cool. If you don't want to be here, cool too. There's an honesty and embodiment that you have about that. And another energy is the most powerful man in the room is the one that has nothing to hide. I sense that. I just sense that that's your beingness. I don't sense that from everybody. In fact, it's very rare. So that's also really fucking refreshing to be around.
The rewards that I've reaped from being honest and transparent have outweighed any hiding that I've ever done tenfold.
Yeah.
Right. The level, and I think one of the most profound moments, and I've talked about this on a number of podcasts, is the scene in 8 Mile where B Rabbit, but Eminem undresses himself on stage.
Yeah.
I live in a trailer park with my mom. My mom's a whore, by the way, and all these other things. And then he hands the mic over to him, and you have nothing. You're disarmed and everything.
Yeah.
And what happened? He won. Honesty won.
Yeah.
And so, and I don't know if you've seen, like, some of my new marketing campaigns are like, you're being lied to. I'm going to be the one that tells you the truth, even if it means I make less money, even if it means I'm less successful.
Yeah.
And this is how I'm going to do it, because it's the right thing to do, of course. But the reward of being honest outweighs hiding, the reward of hiding all day and misleading and doing things like that. It doesn't make fucking sense.
The concept of I want people to be around me because they're attracted to being around me, as opposed to I want them to be around me because I manipulated them to be around me. That's another energy that I see, a dichotomy that I sense from you that's different, and that's one that I resonate with. I always think that I could get this person to buy something if I wanted them to, but then I would kind of feel like my masterful ability to manipulate this human that I've crafted over years and years and years, is it really what's in his best interest or their best interest? I would rather be so fucking attracted that they're like, what is this? How do I be a part of it?
Right.
That makes sense? I sense that from you too, though.
Thank you. I just sat down, I'm like, this is really nice.
But most men are too afraid to compliment other men because they're so fucking insecure. That is not me. I'm overflowing with fucking confidence.
Well, a lot of men are afraid to receive it.
Yeah. And you're fucking doing a great job.
Well,
but like, I want people to see, like, this is the fucking thing I'm talking about. I'm talking about a provocateur is a man that provokes his wife to want him, a man that provokes other people to want to be around him because of who he is. You're embodying that. So I've got to fucking point it out so our listeners at home know exactly what they're looking at, this piece of art over here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But
nobody's breaking it fucking down, man. And you're it. Don't make me get violent, Justin.
I'm here for it.
But like, dude, you're even talking about. I brought out that picture for you just so you could get excited about Darces and fucking anacondas with me.
Okay.
That my MMA. You see my jiu-jitsu thing. The way you talked about guys who really know shit, that they're actually more full of joy. That's exactly how I feel. So shit you're saying, I didn't even, like, you go, well, wait, who's this new fucking voice that's saying everything I believe already? That's what this is. And I want my people that are listening that love everything about what I'm saying to know there's fucking more people than just me. It's you.
Yeah.
All right, your turn.
No. Just something that came to mind is like being able to be honest and outspoken about, like, the truth and all of that. I think that's arriving. I think that's making it.
Yes.
I think that's when it's done, right? When the trauma, the hurt, when it's done.
Oh, that's making it. I've made it. That's when. Oh, that's a great one.
A conversation that it really came to mind actually when I was talking to Jeremy Blossom. Because when he told me everything in our podcast about what he went through, and I'm not going to disclose it, you can watch my podcast to see that, but that was that feeling that he gave me, was that it's done.
Yeah.
It's fucking done.
Yeah.
I can talk about it. I can disclose everything. I can be on the open air on your podcast, and because it's done.
It's done.
And I think that, especially if you're a codependent, right? Like, you're secretly always trying to salvage the past. And that whole feeling of trying to control something that's completely done and over with, but for whatever reason in your fucked up head, you can salvage it or go back to that. That's a chain. That's a chain that is like literally keeping you a slave to the past. Right? But the truth comes out, and you remember when you were a kid and like you were like hiding something from your parents?
Yeah, report cards, and it was coming in the mail, and you're like, oh fuck.
Yep. And then it was finally done.
Yeah.
And all that anxiety leading up to it, okay? As grown men, we have years of that shit. Assuming you were fucking around.
I've done all the dumb shit, dude.
Yeah.
I've done all the dumb shit.
For sure.
So you've just discovered through this process of being fucking honest that the benefit far outweighs the embarrassment in the moment.
100%.
I've experienced the exact same thing too. It's why I've had so many coaches in my life. It's why I've read so many books about, oh, hey, I suck at this. I need to figure this out. Jiu-jitsu was my newest thing 18 months ago. I'm like, well, this is like so fucking rad. I can't stop. I can't not be around this thing. And it just keeps teaching you how to learn and learn. So you do a lot of that now, though. You're in the coaching space. I love your honesty about it. I love you're like, hey, these guys are probably fucking lying to you. Tell me about your angle there and what excites you about being a coach. How did you get into it?
Working 12 steps in Alcoholics Anonymous. There was I go to the Alano Club in Newport. Okay. And I always look at surround yourself with the people who have what you don't have, or that have what you want, that know what you want to know and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And when I would walk in there, I'm a big watch guy. I'm a big, I like luxury things. I've worked very hard throughout my life to achieve having stuff like that and having some sort of status. And I've been to, believe me, the judge has sent me to a number of meetings, you know what I mean, growing up. So I went to this one and I saw all these guys that were like very focused, and everybody had a Rolex on, and everybody had their Benz keys or whatever next to their seats, and everybody knew everybody, and everybody would look at you like they already knew you were full of shit. And at the end of every meeting, and anybody that's been to an AA meeting, and in many cases a stag meeting, they say, if you've worked all 12 steps and you want to help somebody, sponsor them, right? You want to help somebody go through their steps, raise your hand. And all those guys would be sitting with like their legs crossed. I can't do it because of the chair, just to reenact. And then their Rolexes would go up in the air. And they'd be like, yep, come see me. And I remember being like, I need to work my 12 steps.
Yeah.
Because I want to be that guy. I want to have what they have. So started working my 12 steps with a guy who was a little bit younger than me, but he achieved some monumental success. I respected him. Worked my 12 steps, and I told him, and he was a business owner too. So I was like, get me through these. Like, I'll be honest, I'll do everything the right way, but there's like OG AA guys that'll be like, when you're ready and all of this. I'm like, dude, let's just get to business. Who do I got to apologize to? What do I got to tell you? I'll tell you it all. I don't care, right? And then I finally was able to. And then I was sitting at that circle. And then cats would come in that were rehab transplants, just like I was. And they would raise their hand looking for a sponsor. And I had the clarity. I worked my 12 steps. I had my confidence. I had all of the things that I want. When I sat as a fucking rehab transplant in the back of the meetings in rehab row, that I saw these guys and I wanted that. I had that now. How can I make a career out of that? Right? I'm not going to monetize AA. You can't do that. But how do I make a career out of that? And so I started with somebody, big name in the space. I don't want to say his name. It didn't go well. But I started with somebody. And the way he looked at it was low ticket, volume, play the numbers. And I said, well, that's not going to work.
That didn't feel you.
No. I had a monthly nut. I had to make real money too, right? If I was going to do this full time. And meanwhile, I was also running a showroom here in Orange County. And so to replace my income, I would need to do pretty damn well. So I sat back and thought again. And I said, well, who do I know better than anybody? Car dealers. I know the showroom better than anybody. To the point where to have the job that I had, I walked straight into the dealer's office, sat my numbers down, covered in tattoos, no suit, nothing. And he just handed me the job. I was like, and then not only did he hand me the job, he's like, actually, I need you for something bigger, right? So I know the industry. I know everything that goes on in a showroom. I learned how to walk, literally, in a Chevrolet showroom. So I know these guys. I know these guys better than anybody. And I know what they deal with on the day-to-day. I know the stresses. I know all of it. So I'm going to run one high-ticket program to upper-level car dealers, ideally the actual dealer principal. That's who I want to work with.
Nice.
I also went to a college where they said that if you go there, you get a PhD, which stands for Papa Has a Dealership. Okay.
Yeah.
And I knew a whole lot of dealer kids.
Got it.
A lot. My network was full of them. And they were all fat and drunk and the rest of it. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to work this program. I've proven it. I've done it. I have it. I'm going to start dealing with my immediate network, which is everybody in the auto industry. And I'm going to see where that goes. And I started getting them. And then I started getting their wives. And then I started scaling. And 3 months in, I was like...
Mainly a fitness type thing?
Fitness, sobriety, mindset.
Got it. Yeah, got it.
You know?
Yeah.
And then I started building it into a community. I started hosting Zoom calls. Dude, I didn't know like what all the other guys did. I didn't know who Garrett White was. I didn't know I didn't know about the Zoom things. I thought I was creating something that no one's ever done before. You know what I mean? I had such tunnel vision that it was like, and 200 clients led to 300 clients, led to a multi-7-figure coaching business. And I was like, dude, I fucking figured this thing out. Yeah. Now, meanwhile, I paid for courses. I paid for things to learn how to advertise and stuff like that, right? But I did it. Like I figured it out. And I walked away from the auto industry. Never did I ever even consider not working in a showroom. Yeah. And the rest is kind of history.
Nice.
And I just kept that thing going.
The energy of wanting to teach.
You get better at your craft or your sobriety or your fitness or whatever. I remember when I was a finance manager, and I remember when I wanted to become a finance director or a sales manager or something along those lines. And I remember that, you had to teach your finance manager, who would typically come off the floor, to become a finance producer. And I remember when I was teaching that person that their job, their process, how to write up a menu, how to explain things like warranty, gap insurance, laughing gas, which is credit, life, and disability, all of that kind of stuff. And I remember teaching my word tracks and stuff like that. And then I remember I would kick them out of my office because I would have a deal come in. And immediately after going over all of that with that guy, the clients would walk in and I would be 10 times more meticulous with my work just because of the information and his response to it. Yeah. This kid's shoes were fucking talking because he was, they're ripped up, shredded because he was pounding the pavement on the used car lot just so he could have an opportunity to sit in that office. His eyes were fucking skyrocketing. This is my new life. Yeah. I get to put a suit on. I'm wearing Allen Edmonds cap-toed fucking lace-up Oxford shoes. Conversational tie. I'm a finance manager now. Give me a Mont Blanc pen. Yeah. And they thought they were the shit. And that's great. They were. But that energy of teaching that person hit me to where all of a sudden, like doing my normal job that I've been doing for 3 or 4 years at that time, right? I was more meticulous. Took my time writing my menus out just because that energy hit with me. So it's like teaching people, right? When one person teaches, 2 people learn. Yeah. And that becomes a little addictive. And especially when you can recognize that that's happening.
The joy of watching somebody's eyes open up and go, oh, wait, so I can do that? And you're like, yeah. And here's how. Yeah. And here's the next step that you hadn't even considered. And we got some questions for you, Justin Wenzel. You ready for them? Yeah. All right. What do you think is wrong currently with the American male?
Instant gratification.
Instant gratification. Yep.
It shows. It shows around the waistline, right? It shows in the bank account. It shows in everything. You talk to enough people, you see it more and more and more and more. Yeah. We are addicted to instant gratification.
Were you at one point? Yep. What was the step for you to get over that?
I still am. Yeah. Right?
There's
a reason I go to South Coast. Everything. Anything. Anything to take my mind off of what. So I think instant gratification is like trying to have a false sense of present moment.
A false sense of the present moment. Yeah. Explain that.
Anxiety is fear of the future. Depression is thinking about the past or dwelling on the past, right? So our goal, right, is to be present. And when we drink or drug or just, dilute our minds with nonsense, it's typically because we're avoiding something, whether it's thinking about the past or we're concerned about something to come up. So we're trying to bring ourselves to the present moment. But the only way to really be in the present moment is to put yourself in the present moment. Yeah. So when we're chasing instant gratification is to feel some type of way, oxytocin release, whatever, so we can literally feel that feeling of presence.
That makes sense.
But it's not real.
Yeah, presence I've found brings peace. There's a peaceness. There's a
growth.
Yeah.
peace, growth, all of the cool shit, right? Happens in the right now.
Yeah. You seem to get along with people pretty easily. When you came down and hung out with us at the Ascend, it seemed like you'd met these guys and knew them for years. Have you always been that way? Is that a sales thing? Is that just your own personality? What led to that?
The opposite of addiction is connection. And you get through your own bullshit.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you realize that life is better with your life will be determined by who you do life with.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you can be welcoming.
Yeah.
And smile.
Yeah. Your girls seem to have real fun. Jessie got along with them real great. Easy.
She's wonderful.
Easy peasy, man. All right. What do you think stops high performing men from feeling truly fulfilled?
The high performing men that I know are chasing spirituality, growth, physical growth, wealth, all of the things that you would think would bring most people, but all of the men I surround myself with are pretty fucking happy.
Yeah.
Right? Because they have those things and they built those things and they've stayed consistent. But when I think of like the guy who has it all, but he's empty inside, I'll never say like lack of balance, but I think typically it's something like human connection that's missing. Something is missing where they feel alone.
It sounded like what you said was you're around a bunch of high-performing men that actually are truly fulfilled.
Yeah, it's hard to put my finger on it right now. If I go back and I think of everything else, it almost always stems back to instant gratification and avoidance.
If I was to answer that question, to throw it on here, I would probably feel that they don't know what will actually fulfill them. So as they're trying different things, they're not sure exactly what it is yet.
Yeah.
But they're down to try. And I think a lot of them have been sold the lie of if you perform all these great acts and accumulate all these cool things, you're going to feel fucking amazing. And while being the man does feel amazing, like driving the cool car and having the hot wife and having dough and having like all your preferences pretty much at your disposal, I don't know about you, man, but for me, my favorite spot is right over on that couch, just with the lights off here with a candle lit and just trying to connect with whatever this living animation inside of me that keeps coming up. Are you the same way?
I am. So I think though that there's a difference because I've had a lot of cool shit and had the woman, had the house, had the car, had all of that stuff, and I was miserable inside. But that was doing the same thing that I was kind of like bred to do. What it took to achieve what I have now, like let's even say that I had the same amount of net worth, the same amount of everything as I do right now, and that's not a fact. I'm way further in life than I was then. What it took for me to establish this was building the body, was developing the discipline. This was, welcome to ABC Motors. Can I get you a coffee? Let me take you over, show you the hood and trunk. You know what I mean? That was what got this over here.
Yeah.
To achieve what I have now, it took like crazy discipline.
Yeah.
It took a lot of delayed satisfaction. It took constant growth. So to look at like it from this point of view compared to where I'm at today, I have a hard time figuring out what's missing because I've earned it.
Yeah.
In a totally different way, spiritually, mentally, with my relationships and everything else.
Yeah.
This is pure.
Yeah.
This is trash.
That's exactly how I see it. I remember telling Jesse the other day, I was like, I used to resent you for not seeing me and treating me as the man. But once I actually became the man, I realized there's no way you could have, because that would have been a lie to you and to your soul. And over here, there's nothing being threatened because it's all real. It's actually built off the foundation and principles of discipline and being true to myself and speaking my mind, these types of things. I think we figured it out. Yeah, we fucking.
It took me a minute.
Yeah, we fucking.
No, that one stumped me, bro.
I think it was you were in the corner and you tag teamed me and I got to jump in there and then we fucking tag teamed and you went off the top.
Now I know that you're there. I'm ready for that. I'm ready.
All right. Why do you think it's so hard for modern men to actually make friends, even high performing men? You've got to see this in your coaching. I mean, you work with a lot of guys, right? Yep,
100%. So what's the one? Allodaxophobia, like the fear of like what people think about you. And I think that cripples men.
The fear of what people think of them.
Yep.
Like fear of rejection, that type of stuff.
Yeah. Judgment, rejection, stuff like that. I think that we isolate. And once again, it goes right back to like what we can handle instantly, right? Like there's no reason to go to Vaughn's anymore. You can have it delivered to your doorstep, right? Guys, I always challenge guys that I coach that live in high rises. And I lived in a high rise most of my life. And how many times, Freddie has my phone, but I like to use visual examples. No, it's good. But a lot of times I'll be in the elevator and I would be looking at my phone. And somebody would come in and I would kind of look up and then I would look at my phone. And do you know how many times I caught myself looking at my background screen or like just my home screen on my phone, pretending like I was doing something important just so I didn't have to acknowledge that person was right there? That's fucked. Because who that person could be something great in your life someday. Wow. So I think also we're not looking for opportunity to meet because we don't know that that's missing.
You gotta have some fucking dudes around you, man. Like if you're not, you're only getting the opinion of your wife, which means you're learning how to be a man from a girl.
Right, and I think a lot of men, married men with kids and stuff like that, they think that's where the road ends.
Yeah.
You know? And then because, you get married and now you're not talking to your homies as much and all of this stuff's going on and that's normal.
Yeah.
It might be normal, but it's really piss poor.
Oh, so piss poor, dude. Yeah. You don't seem like you have a struggle finding friends.
I have a lot of friends.
Yeah. I like it. It's probably because you're friendly. You model the fucking thing you want, right? All right. Why do you think men who are in relationships or married feel so lonely? This is kind of a tag on that one. Why do you think they feel lonely?
Communication's a big thing. I also think not knowing what you want. Because if you don't know what you want, how are you supposed to express it to your person?
Yeah.
Also, again, it's self-worth, right? Like when the plane goes down, I put the mask on myself before I help the person next to me. And I think the person the man feels so like it's like all I have to do is provide without realizing that like providing is like the bare minimum in a relationship.
Yeah.
Like providing, like when guys are like, oh yeah, I give them a great life. That cool, good for you. Fucking right, good job. You provided.
Yeah.
So do we. And we also give good dick.
Yeah.
And we also listen.
What do you think society gets wrong about what men actually need?
It's funny because I enjoy the cool shit, right? But I think a lot of it, and young men too are very impressionable about things like they should have, or they're less than if they don't have it, right? So it's like there's this like competition to have more, it's constant materialism and things like that, to where you got to realize that if you do the work first, that the material stuff, like you can't put the money and the shit before the breakthrough. And people think that they can put the money before the breakthrough. You got to have the breakthrough happen first. You have to be able to start to attract the things that society tells you that you should have.
And what I'm hearing you say is they need to get out of, they've been sold a consumer mentality and need to switch over more to like a creator mentality.
I think so.
Yeah, I like that. All right. What do you think husbands secretly crave from their wives but don't know how to ask for?
I think it's respect. Right? What a woman wants love, men want respect, right?
Okay.
But I think respect is obviously earned. And so if men knew how to love and listen and things like that, then they would get the respect that they are asking for.
Did you learn that by going through a fucked up marriage and then figuring that out? Is this your second time around understanding?
Second time around.
Or third? Is this third?
Being surrounded by like the personal development world and all of that, you hear other people talk and you start to relate to it and you're like, oh, that's me too.
Yeah.
So I think knowing yourself enough to be able to say like, oh, that is what's missing. I think too, like in a lot of relationships, you have an alternating role of victim and offender. Right. And then so that's how like relationships, like issues start happening, is it's like you have the victim and then you have the offender. And then somehow within minutes, those roles reverse. And then it just like is like cyclical. And ultimately, women will say you have to communicate better, but men, we don't. Like, we think we're communicating, but we're not saying what they want to hear. So it's very, very challenging. So I think to know what you want, right, and if it's respect, right, and that's what you want from your partner, then you can't just like tell them I want respect, right? You have to figure out what they need to give you that respect.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good distinction.
And I think also I figured this out, and I don't even know that I have it fully figured out yet. Yeah. But by failing so many times.
Same. I think I learned most of my lessons. I like that. I like that you said that though. There's a reason why she's not respecting you.
Correct.
There's a reason. I always love telling people, like when they say to you, my wife left me and she's a this or that thing. I said, well, I've never seen a happy woman leave.
Right.
They just don't leave, man. And I'm not saying our job is to make them happy, but happy women, they're heard and they're seen and they feel fucking loved.
I posted an AI image the other day of a ripped guy at a pool and then a fat guy on a pool chair and then his wife staring at the ripped guy.
I think I saw it.
And I got a lot of really... The image produced a lot of clientele.
Nice.
But the image also had a lot of Bible thumping, those types of people in my DMs saying you're pushing cheating or you're pushing lust and all of that stuff. I said, do you want to know the reality of life?
That's all you did is you just said, here's reality.
Your wife's tennis coach is getting way more fucking action than you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
And at the end of the day, again, the respect part. So you have a man who's sitting there who clearly doesn't respect himself, and you have a woman who's looking over at a guy who clearly does respect himself.
Yeah.
It's evident, and it happens constantly. And I think a lot of guys are naive.
We had a friend of ours say, so you say remain dateable forever? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. I mean, if you're going to boil it down to something, yeah.
Mm-hmm. If whatever you're in doesn't work out, you should be able to land on your feet very quick.
That's an interesting standard. I like that. We have a phrase we call it being the catch of the county. So it's like if Jessie was like, she wakes up, slips out of bed, bonks her head and goes, I don't want to be with Keith anymore. There's a piece of me that knows there'd be 100 women lining up going, how do I become the next Mrs. Yaki?
Right.
I would miss the shit out of Jessie. She's my best friend. She's like the greatest human I've ever met. And she's funny as shit, dude. I just adore her. And if for some reason she's like, your shit is not my shit anymore. I don't like you anymore. Okay.
Do you think it's healthy that there is a little bit of competition in regards to that? Or maybe competition isn't the right word, but...
It's an understanding of reality.
Right.
Well, you painted a picture of reality.
Yes.
I love the fact that there's men that would love my wife. Duh.
Yeah.
And she loves the fact that women are not fucking bashful in public about me.
Why do guys get so pissed off about, like, when they have a wife that dudes are going to come on to? Guys are going to come on to them. Women are going to come on to dudes regardless if they're married or not.
Make your wife so fucking attracted to you and in love with you and love being with you that literally nobody could steal her.
Right.
It sounds like you hold the same opinion.
Yeah.
But this is so rare for men. So they work through jealousy and all this other stuff. It's like, guys like, my wife can't go on a girls trip. I go, my wife can go wherever the fuck she wants.
Right,
She's a grown-ass woman. And I know that her word is her bond with me and my word is my bond with her. And we've proven it time and time and time and time again.
Yep.
So now what?
I think getting over codependency for me was huge. Because like at this point and in my relationship, and keep in mind that my wife met me in my most vulnerable state. My wife met me when I was in rehab.
I remember you telling me that, yeah.
I had a curfew when I met her.
Yeah, that's right. You said I feel like a baller.
The day I met her, hey, I gotta go pee in a cup.
Yeah.
But I think also like that vulnerability and stuff like that was what really brought the attraction.
Yeah.
But again, a lot of guys would be like, oh, your wife met you when you were nobody at the bottom and now she's with you and the trust is there. No. There was never like a level of distrust. Well, I don't want to get into that, but there's never been that moment because the way we met each other was so pure and so real.
Yeah.
And now, like today, if she wants to go to Vegas with her girlfriends and stuff, she wants to go to Chippendales. I don't care.
I could care less.
Honestly, I'm being kind of cool. Like, let me get some.
Jesse and I go to strip clubs together. We fucking think it's fun as shit. We love it. So we don't have any problems.
No. So I used to be. Yeah. I used to be so jealous that I was fucked up in the head about it. Yeah. Where I would make things up about things. Sure. And that's when I kind of knew that I beat codependency. Now, of course, I probably become codependent to other things. Yeah. But at the same time, where it was like that. And now then on the flip side, I'm in the fitness world. I'm surrounded by gorgeous fitness women every single day. Yeah. Right. And I leave my phone open. Right. Like, but never once has she even looked in my phone. Yeah. Same. Like, I don't care. Like, I'll leave it unlocked and whatever. And there's stuff. Yeah. Right. Like there's gonna be people that come on to me. It's mostly dudes. Let's just be real. Guys, stop. That's weird. So clearly heterosexual, but okay, whatever.
They're gonna turn you.
Take your swing. I love it.
They're gonna fucking turn you. They're gonna be the one, bro. Yeah. They're gonna be the one. They know it. They feel their heart.
But you know, but again, it's like there doesn't have to be the secret and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, that's an honesty I could kind of feel between you and your lady, dude. It was just like this real, just comfortability with who you are. Yep. And that's what I love about Jessie. She's just like, some people are like, I can't believe you'd be with a guy that's been with hundreds of women. She's like, and he picked me. Yeah. The dude's had it all. And I'm the one he said, you're the one I never want to not have.
You know what's this is just interesting, and I don't know if you wanted to go anywhere else, but that just made me think of something.
Say it.
Body count.
Yeah.
Does it matter to you?
No.
Not at all?
No.
Me neither.
I don't think most men have ever seen true devotion in a woman's eyes looking at him.
Fact.
And when they talk, not having had that experience, I don't think most men are used to having a wife that says, whatever the fuck you want, you get, because I fucking adore the shit out of you. I'm so honored to be with you. If they've never felt that, then they're speaking from lower on the mountain. And I get it. And it sounds and feels real to them. Bro, I'm all the way at the fucking tippy top of Pussy Mountain, realizing that discipline, it was discipline that got me here. It wasn't good looks, it wasn't these beautiful triceps, it was a discipline to not be codependent and to love me and to fucking like be the most attractive version of me. My wife's gotta why wouldn't she want to be with that guy? So these guys, when they're talking about body count, I'm like, bro, I can take the deepest slut and turn her into the most devoted, beautiful, submissive, like feminine, in her power. Submissive doesn't mean she's not in her power. In her power, woman ever. So why would I care if she used to be a fucking piece of trash like I used to be?
Right. Do you think it's like the spirituality, esoteric thing that just completely pollutes that concept? Because they would flip it on me and say, no, it's all the dudes she's banged that polluted the concept. But I look at it different.
I think redemption is the greatest story of mankind.
100%.
And if we're not going to put it all the way across the board, then you have to take it all the way across the board.
Yeah.
The guy lost all of his money and made it back. Hell yeah. Dude, she used to find her validation and giving her body up to men, and then now is singularly devoted to this one guy who's pick of the fucking county. That's redemption, bitch, in my opinion.
Yep.
So yeah,
it doesn't even faze me.
Yeah, and people have a problem with my high body count. I'm like, dude, you're an idiot.
Yeah,
you're an idiot. You were raised by people who didn't know how to get laid, and they felt that they were more morally superior because they didn't. Mm-hmm. And I'm sorry, women want to have sex with me. Until you've experienced that, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah.
And this is why most of like my actual one-on-one clients all run movements, because they're like, you're speaking from a spot that I want to be at. Not to necessarily have that all them women, but I want my wife to feel this way about me. And I go, oh, all you have to do is, it's a skill, man. It's like fucking jujitsu. It's a skill. Most men don't understand it, so they speak from being white belts forever, and it's like, nah, you don't get it.
If I had a rebuttal,
what's a non-negotiable after the relationship you've been in? You're like, this is a non-negotiable for me.
One thing is like, I want to make sure that my wife has time, right, to do the things she loves to do and do all of that. In return, I need her to help me create time for myself. So if that means like having my meal preps ready, like the regular things. And again, it's not like a matter of like being like a alpha male or like a whatever, you know what I mean? Toxic masculinity, like woman belongs in the kitchen.
I say, yeah.
It's literally like, I need to, for us to continue to create this life, I need you to create more time. And right. And then that's what it really is. So I need time in return for the lifestyle that I've been able to provide.
And she gets it. It's a teammate goes, oh, this is my role. Cool. I'll go fucking crush that role.
Yeah. So I think too, like your respect on time really, really transforms when you own your own business, right? When you're in a world like the auto sales world or any sort of like corporate world, I think that you completely lose value for your own time.
Even the sales guys?
100%.
Oh, wow.
Because you have to be there to get sales. So it's like your time's not important. Your time's important to the dealer, the person who's in charge.
Got it.
Right? So now it's like when you become an entrepreneur and a successful entrepreneur, you realize like how much more important time is than really anything else.
Anything. Have you read Dan's book, Buy Back Your Time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I have hundreds of them, so I hand it out to everybody. So if you already have it, I won't give it to you.
No, I have that one. Actually, I think I saw a few.
Yeah, I got a ton of them down here.
Yeah.
And 200 more at my house.
Nice.
Yeah. Hey, when your friend launches his book, we all get behind it.
Yeah. No, I absolutely love Dan Martell. I watch all of his stuff. He's fantastic.
He's the best. His signature's over there. You're going to get your signature here real soon.
Nice.
Yeah, anybody on the show, we gotta put you on the door.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so we got a lot of silver scratches over there, some pretty epic guests, but
I love that.
Bro, I think you're a fantastic example of a man that's shining his light unapologetically. That's what drew me into what you were saying and how you showed up. Your joy is abundant. I think these are the type of guys I like to showcase on here and just say, hey, so if you had one last piece of advice for a man just in this world and he's just trying to make it as a man and he wants to feel all the things that we want to feel, successful, fulfilled, happy, joyous, all those things, what would you tell him?
Be selfish.
Okay.
Be selfish. Like, take some time on yourself. If you're out of a relationship, don't get into another one. You know, get laid, go do the things that you want to do. Okay. But really take some time to focus on yourself. If you're a married man, even with kids, take some time to focus on yourself, because you're never going to be able to give your family what they actually need if you're not happy with you. You need to be selfish.
Become the best version of you for you. That's one of Married Game's holy trinity of Married Games principles. Become the best version of you for you. So, Justin, it's been an honor to have you on the show. It's been fun to get to know you. I look forward to hanging out with you more and just having all this positivity continue to collide. So,
thank you for having me.
Gang, if you want to follow him, where do they follow you? Where do they hear about your stuff? How do they get more Wenzel?
Just go to my Instagram, @Justin Wenzel. No dots, no underscores, just straight up JUSTINWENZEL.
And we'll put the link in below so that way you can go to it. So, hey, if you've heard this and you're like, shit, I need to be that man that my wife actually wants to have sex with and wants to be showing up with at the dance floor, well, all you got to do is go to marriedgame.com. We'll show you exact step-by-step a blueprint on how to do that. And as always, keep crushing it, because that shit is contagious.